This week's top Disney news stories include the reopening of Hong Kong Disneyland and also some more news about the planned reopening of Walt Disney World. There are also stories about Star Wars Squadrons and conflict over the reopening of Disneyland. Stay tuned and I'll break it all down. Well, hello there. My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now it's that time of the week once more, so on to this week's biggest Disney news stories. Our top story for this week is the reopening of Hong Kong Disneyland. We've been hearing rumors for a while that Hong Kong Disneyland was probably reopening soon, as we've kept getting little bits of glimpses here and there, such as putting out social distancing signs or markers on the ground, but there had never been an announcement of when it was going to open. Well, all of a sudden, Sunday, they announced it would be opening. And so here we come to Thursday and it's open. So really quick right there. Now, it had been closed for 4 months prior to that, making it the longest closure for a park at this point in time. And you can expect the usual over at Hong Kong Disneyland, limited attendance. We don't know what the exact numbers are because they're being tight-lipped about that. One can make a guess somewhere around, let's say, 20% of capacity if one had to make a guess. And that's just based on what the other parks like Shanghai Disneyland are doing and what the plans are elsewhere. There's also social distancing all throughout, cast members making sure that's happening, lots of sanitization, everything you expect from what you've seen at the other parks like Shanghai Disneyland and what you've seen being announced for Disney World and Disneyland. One of the really cool things is that we're getting new views of the main castle over in Hong Kong Disneyland, because it's been going through this major upgrade. Originally it was just a copy of the same castle over in Disneyland, but they've been turning into this giant castle of magical dreams. Much taller, and it's a combination of different parts of Disney. And the first looks we're having are amazing. So it's in its final stages of transformation and still has a little bit to go. But it's set to become one of the best looking of the castles, in my opinion anyway. So hey, there you go. There's another Disney park open, the second one to officially reopen. Continuing onward, our next story is also about parks reopening, and this is a whole bunch of updates about the planned reopening of Walt Disney World. Over the last week, we have gained a lot of new information. First off, there will be no virtual queues, and there will be no single rider lines when the parks reopen. Now they say no virtual queues, but maybe they're planning to do something along the lines of the standby pass that they've been doing over at Shanghai Disneyland. Maybe that's kind of the wording that we're getting around and using. Don't know. We'll have to see more as we get further along. Remember that FastPass Plus also is not going on over in Walt Disney World, so there's a lot of stuff not happening, and we don't still have the full picture of what the expectation is when it does open next month. We also now know that there will be no park hopping between the parks, so if you're in Magic Kingdom for the day, that's where you're at. You're not switching between Magic Kingdom to Epcot or Epcot over to Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom, etc. So there you go. Disney is calling their new reservation system the Disney Parks Pass System. If you wanted more information about that, head on over to Walt Disney World's website and you can find a whole lot more out there. We already know that you won't be able to interact with the characters in the normal way when the park reopens. They'll be off at a distance and you'll be able to take pictures of them, but we've gotten a little more information. So they're going to have some what they call special cavalcades over Magic Kingdom down the parade route, or they'll be sailing the waterways in Animal Kingdom. There'll be processions through the World Showcase over at Epcot, and apparently some motorcades over in down Hollywood Boulevard and Hollywood Studios. So, some interesting new ideas they're trying to do to make some of that work. Now let's talk about some of the major events that we usually expect at Walt Disney World. First off, the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival will exist. It's going to be called a Taste of Epcot International Food and Wine Festival this year, and it will be modified in some ways, but it will also be the longest one yet. So it's going to start on July 15th and continue through the fall. There will be over 20 different signature marketplaces, such as Hawaii, hops and barley, and islands of the Caribbean. Also, hey, you'll even get to see a topiary of Remy that'll be up over in the France Pavilion, so that's cool. Now, the Eat to the Beat concert series will not be happening due to physical distancing needs. But they will have bands like the Mariachi Cobre, the Jammers, and there'll be more. So you will have some music nonetheless. Now, as for other events, we've got some new news on cancellations. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party will not be happening in 2020. Disney made the decision because essentially they don't have the ability to really do the stage shows, the parades, and the fireworks the way they want to, so they're going to cancel it as a whole. Also, over at Typhoon Lagoon, Disney's H2O Glow Nights has been canceled for the remainder of 2020. Now, as far as Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, we do not yet know any information on that. It will come out as we get a little further along. Apparently Disney is still evaluating and, well, probably waiting to see if they can open things up far enough by then. So there you go, a whole bunch of information about Walt Disney World reopening and lots of new updates. And of course, we should take everything with a grain of salt considering what things are looking like in Florida at the moment as coronavirus cases are moving up at a rapid pace right now. So we'll see what Florida really looks like as it's nearing July and what to expect at that point in time. But hey, I'll keep you updated. And with that, it's time for everyone's favorite section, the lightning round. It's a few quick headlines of bigger stories. The Coalition of Resort Labor Unions, which represents 10 unions and 17,000 Disneyland employees, sent an open letter to the governor of California for Disneyland to not be reopened in July. They say Disney has rejected numerous safety proposals from its unions and is not making any serious discussion yet about testing, so they do not feel safe when Disney is planning to reopen in July. Shanghai Disneyland has marked its 4th anniversary this past Tuesday on June 16th, and as well as that, they've also started to bring back their different theater shows. Happy anniversary to Shanghai Disneyland! The Disney Cruise Line has extended its closure through September 15th for its U.S. ports. This extension is not overly surprising given some of what I've reported before in regards to places like Canada closing their ports for longer periods of time. The new upcoming video game Star Wars Squadrons had both a trailer and gameplay footage released this week. It's expected to be released on October 2nd for all current generation platforms and have a $40 MSRP. And frankly, it looks like a lot of fun. Star Wars Celebration has been canceled for the first time in the history of the event. It's not super surprising to see this cancellation given another major event during the age of coronavirus. There have been some updates about the NBA going down to Walt Disney World, so it looks like they will actually be going to 3 different Walt Disney World resorts, the Coronado Springs Resort, the Grand Floridian, and the Yacht Club. Also, they will be using technology quite heavily in ensuring health and safety, including things like smart rings that players will be wearing. And finally, a 4K version of The Empire Strikes Back will be playing in theaters in the UK when they reopen potentially in July, which will mark the first Star Wars movie to ever be released to the theaters in 4K. So that's the news for this week. Did I miss any big Disney news stories? And what are your thoughts about Hong Kong Disneyland? And are you excited for Star Wars Squadrons? Let me know down below in the comments. And thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another new video. And if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring the bell. Have a magical day, and may the Force be with you. Always.